go.
Brad, I'm going to need you to stop with the wildly inappropriate
evening,
touching. I did not give you
anyone.
consent.
We've got myself, Mr. Bradchester. We've got Lyle, who refuses to let the intro play and knows that you can hear him behind it and always says something while it's dropping. And then we've got the TO guy judge dude and a half, Mr. Brian Horton.
How's it going?
And then we've got Abaddon. Abaddon is not happy with you choosing to talk through the intro, Lyle. However,
Fuck 'em.
to be fair, Abaddon never seems to be that happy about anything nowadays.
To be fair, if he wasn't happy, he would just later say that he was happy and it was all part of his plan all along.
True story. Abaddon's never wrong. He's just waiting for the next retcon. He is retcon less than you think. Like a lot of that stuff's been in play for a while, but that does not mean that he hasn't been retcon like a madman.
He's only been retconned once. It's just that one retcon 12 Crusades.
I love it. The two first quotes are fantastic. Hello, fellow dogs, and hello, fellow old guys and other guys. It is true. He is happy about crushing Cadia. He probably sends them a little email all the time. For some unknown reason, that Cadia's fucking thing that their catchphrase is Cadia stands, and you're like, I would beg to differ. I've got a new map here. It says I broke the sky. Abaddon
Cadia
won.
stands in the same way that the Black Knight from the Holy Grail is still standing.
Just merely a flesh wound.
On two little stumps.
Is but a flesh wound.
I mean, the Eye of Terra become the Voltron slash of Terra.
So are we gonna take Cadia and like Age of Sigmar it and like have little planets off Cadia? Like have the chunks of Cadia held together by the Emperor's psychic will at some point?
I mean, probably. Next thing you know, old Teclis is a millionaire. Why does no one respond to the Cadia inbox? I mean, it was kind of a thorn in his side for a while, and now it is not. So, because of all I think about is Robot Chicken with Darth Vader having everything for dinner on Cloud City. Oh no, Alderaan, chunks everywhere. Whew. So, we had a weekend.
It was a big weekend.
We had a big weekend. That is true. We had a big weekend.
If this was a big weekend, what is the next one?
We were just going to keep having the tournament season's like really starting to ramp up. You got to figure that we have a metric ton of big tournaments that are coming up. You know what I mean? Spring, summer just really ramps up. You know what I mean? With a shit ton of tournaments and big tournaments too. We've got multiple weekends in a row here where we're going to have multiple 150 plus people tournaments like every single weekend for a while. So, and then in the meta, pretty wild. We had another top weekend champ come through. The greater good, the communists, the past good guys who are now bad guys became the top spot for the weekend.
Look, man, the Tau are the wife of Frozone from The Incredibles, right? They're not the greater good. They are the greatest good that you are ever going to get in 40K. You just need to make peace with that.
Dude, I was happy to see it, though. I'm still happy with the meta. We were just talking before we went live that the two armies that have been pretty, like, the most consistent, there's been a couple that have been consistent, but besides Templars and Necrons, everybody else has been a little bit in flux. Not a hugely in flux. There's been ones that have been above 50% every single week. But Crons and Templars just seem to be putting in the work, like week in, week out. They're 53+% win rate every single week. That's just what they do.
I haven't paid as much attention to Meta Monday today as I typically do. I've just been very busy today. Were Custodes not up there as they had been in the past couple weeks?
They were still doing fine. Yeah, 54%. I give you that, but Custodes have had a couple not super down weeks. I mean, there's 54% for a 7-week win rate, and they wanted 54% for that. You know what? Screw it. I'll put them in with the the most, consistent. I tend to not think about the golden bananas as much. I just assume they're going to be there, So I guess that's why. But the thing is that when you're looking to plan for a tournament, you're gonna play some Templars, you're gonna play some Necrons. Hell, you're probably gonna play some Custodes. You got to figure that Templars had $167 games in, Necrons 414, and Custodes 312. You have to have some answers to those armies if you're going to continue on. That's just a lot of games played.
Hey, Brad. You know what army is really good against all three of those?
Your boys. I think what you meant to say was
they happen to win Rocky Top this weekend.
Yeah, I think you meant to say Corbulo.
One army with favorable matchups into all of those boys.
That is true.
And I was saying to Brad before we went live that it seems like everyone has rediscovered that melee still works.
Yeah.
Fight phase is still a thing.
And the thing is, I'm going to say the same thing I said before. What I think is happening right now is that we're not getting people that are bullying people as much with like world leader stuff where people are trying to get across the board. A lot of the armies that are winning and using melee as their path to victory are pushing to the middle, pushing behind those walls, taking those objectives, sitting there and basically telling people, do something about this. A lot of the terrain setups, especially the GW sets, really encourage you to just go, what are you going to do about getting me off these two objectives?
Look, we've had times where Blood Angels has been the best army because they could just do something crazy out of deep strike and kill you and whatever. There have been times that's happened. That's not been the most common way they're good in competitive 40K. If you look back at, I'm going to call it Blood Angel Summer last year, where we had Blood Angels go on a slew of winning some larger events. I think Jack won a super major with them at one point.
All I'm thinking right now is...
You just post up in the middle, and then you don't move.
Yep.
That's it.
Lyle just gave Blood Angels a hot girl summer. I love everything that's happening here.
The lists look different now. Now they're more Blood Angels in boxes as opposed to Blood Angels with jump packs. Like, you still got some jump packs, but not the way we have historically.
But the thing is that because
the strategy's the same. You post up and you wait for your opponent to mess up.
With this tournament packet, the Leviathan pack that we've been using, people are starting to understand more and more that I don't need to go all the way across the board. I need to take those three objectives in the middle. You know what I mean? Uh-oh, Super Chat, Kenneth Smith answered to top of meta, Lamardes. You know what? I kind of like that, actually. Uh-oh, probably coming in with $1.99 Super Chat. Shout out to the art store and Brian. Go Blue.
Oh, wait. That's Pee-wee. That's our Pee-wee Herman Funhouse word of the day, Brad. Ding, 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 ding. Go Blue. I asked ChatGPT to write a song about Blood Angels winning a super major to the tune of The Victors from Michigan. And I have sent it to you in Discord for you to sing on stream.
Let me find this. I'm already unhappy that this is going on. Oh my God, it really is. You know what? Screw this. I'm doing this. Hail to the angels, noble and bold. Jesus Christ. With wings of glory, the tales are told. In the heat of battle, they never yield. Blood Angels triumph across the field. Fucking. You know what? Chat GPT, before you take over the world, you will make me say stupid shit on stream more than once. But as I was saying,
so considering we had Blood Angels win, let's take a look at that list.
It's good.
Right, you got it ready, Brad, or am I reading?
Go ahead and read it off because I've got like 10 lists. I'll give me 2 seconds.
So we got Lamardes, the Sanguinor, a captain with pistol and melee weapon, the plasma pistol power fist combo, captain with plasma pistol power fist, the chaplain who was the warlord, a lieutenant with combi weapon. 2 units of assault intercessors, Death Company with Inferno Pistol Power Fist, just the standards, not with jump packs. Large squad of them. I can't tell you how many because it's just way too tough to scroll through.
It's a big squad.
And then, it was a big squad. And then a unit of jump pack Death Company. Same thing. Inferno Pistol Power Fist, 5 of those. 3 units of scouts, a gladiator lancer, and a land raider redeemer. along with our Rhino.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, and it's pushes to the middle. And the thing is that what I was saying before I was reading off ChatGPT's and I doing Pee Wee's word of the day. The thing is that you need speed, but you basically need layers of speed. You need like a multi-layered attack most of the time right now in the game to be really effective. But you can use slower things that can push to those middle objectives and just sit, you know what I mean? And counter. Especially things that are super powerful right now, things like Fight on Death. Hugely powerful, especially when you have multiple armies in the game right now. Custodes, Death Guard, that all have fight first, you know what I mean? You have Lilith with witches. Go to what KR was talking about. There was multiple undefeateds over at Rocky Mountain Open, and all of them have a lot of things in common here, which is the board control style. We had Sky Splinter from Drakari went 5-0-1. Necron's Canoptic Court, which is like just the definition of just trying to take the board, with went 5-0-1. And then we had right behind him in 5-6, 2 Hypercrypts. You know what I mean? So that's just a lot of.
And we had World Eaters in there as the other 6-0.
Yeah. And then you've got basically all of these armies have things in common, which are just they're trying to really grind that board out. It's not just a go kill everybody meta. It's my favorite thing is just taking the board. You know what I mean? Taking the board smartly and just dominating. And both the Blood Angels, the Blood Angels player wildly again, but the World Eaters also really had big scores. They had huge differentials in their scores because they were really taking the board and giving their opponent really low primary scores, which is a huge deal. You know what I mean?
And we have Meta Monday coming in with this week. We saw Canoptic Court doing better than Hyper, and his question is why? I think a lot of the reason is people have figured out how to play against Hypercrypt now.
Great.
They're not getting caught off guard by some strats that they weren't familiar with. And they've figured out how to play against it, which has helped bring its win rate down a little bit.
It's a big thing on that is like, it's why we talk. I've said a million times, and you guys have agreed multiple times on this. I really don't ever want to nerf something right away. Let the meta adapt itself first, then figure out with the problems. You know what I mean? Because I think that Hypercrypt was winning at such a huge rate at first because no one knew what to do with them. You know what I mean? Then you start figuring out, the meta starts understanding at least how. Is it a powerful army? Hell yeah, it's a powerful army. But are we starting to figure out what to do against this army? Yes. Push it out. You know, put that 40 mil right in the middle of that objective, baby. Don't let them land on it. You know, people are having strategies against this stuff. And while it's a great army, I don't think it's the end all be all army. Exactly.
Did you happen to watch the finals yesterday on Joe's stream?
I did not. I did not.
So
go ahead.
The finals was. I thought the finals was interestingly poetic in a way that because I had been following the WTC World Scrim a couple weeks ago, and Zach had been playing Vanguard Marines and the Team America played against Team France, and Olivier, I think Weiss, was playing the Blood Angels list. That I think kind of got us started talking about this a few weeks ago, and he beat Zach pretty soundly. I don't remember the exact score, but he beat him by a pretty reasonable margin. And so Zach's list yesterday was playing his variation of that list that he lost to. And in the finals, he gets to play against Ben Neal, who was basically playing the list that Zach originally had played when he got beat by Blood Angels the first time. They had just kind of swapped roles. So it's interesting kind of seeing what had originally gone in that game and how it went down. But he's playing against Vanguard Marines. Did you know that Vanguard Marines, if you shoot your entire army at a Land Raider and the Land Raider pops every conceivable stratagem to stay alive, it doesn't die, even against Vanguard Marines using all of their nonsense, which I found really interesting.
Hold on. Now you're just challenging. I'm surprised Tom just didn't show up out of nowhere and go, I would kill 2 Land Raiders on turn 1 if it was me.
It was really interesting because he popped the full Vanguard combo, 6 Centurion Devs and 12 Plasma Inceptors into a Land Raider and couldn't pick it up, which I think most people did not see coming. A Land Raider doesn't live forever, but it can live for a turn, I guess, when it needs to, which really allowed him to put the pressure on by moving the Land Raider out into the open. So that really just highlights how powerful Land Raiders are with kind of all the cover that you can, as Brad likes to say, you always have cover.
You always have cover, baby. I mean, Jesus, it's like a leaf blows through the field. That's going to give me cover, guys. You're like, on your Land Raider? Yeah. It was a good looking leaf. Gives you cover. I want to go to a couple of things on the wall real quick. One, KR, do you have any pictures of Peterson's dino riding army? Because I'd really like to see that. One, dinosaurs are awesome, but the army sounded amazing. The other is, as a war boss myself, what is going on with Orks right now? Their win rate has gone really down. Is it because several of us big Ork players haven't played tournaments lately, or what's going on?
I think they over nerfed them. Personal opinion. It just dropped way too much. I don't think they were winning at that immense of a win rate for what they did to them. Because that points adjustment just took a little too much off the table for them.
It was big though. I mean, I say this all the time because it's 40K is a snowball game, but like it's the synergy on that. Like when I make my old list basically lost a full unit. You know what I mean? So it was annoying on that. But I think that they're going to be
way worse when you're not playing all the models in your units to begin with.
Oh, I mean, that's true. I mean, who needs the entire unit? That sounds crazy talk. But Brad put the evil on Orks. That is true. I do identify as a T-Rex. But so the big thing with the Orks right now is one of the things I think a lot of people, myself included, are just kind of waiting for the Codex to come out because I want to bring new shit. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not really hammering out a ton of new lists because I'm excited for new shit. You know what I mean? And I do like my new toys. Like I was playing some Dark Eldar. You know what I mean? So I want to play with the new crap. And with the Orks right now, I mean, I don't know if the nerf's there. I still feel that they're in a decent spot. I do think that they need.
And he's not wrong that with custodes coming a little more prevalent in the field, it does hurt Orks because fight first versus Orks isn't the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean the custodes match is trash.
Orks are worse because of what everything else got better. Because not only did custodes get better, we went over this before. Death Guard got better.
I mean, both those matches are awful for Orks. Yeah. I have to give you that. Because in a team, even this is a big thing on that, because whether we were going to play Orks or whether we are going to play Dark Eldar, for instance, in our team matchups, what we're going to bring, there was real concern because Death Guard effectively just making Orks, well, making anybody, but Orks do 90% of their damage and punchy. And making them -2 to hit's a huge deal for the Death Guard. And then, Custodes with all their fight first and rerolls on that are just devastating on an objective. So I will give you those that Orks would be.
I don't think the rise of Drukhari is good for Orks because Drukhari have the speed to get Dark Lances onto trucks and then charge the juicy insides. I don't think I don't know the Black Templars matchup for Orks.
It's fine.
But they have fights first, so it's probably not the best.
It's still playable in that because of the fact that we have tools. I think Orks are still in a good place. I just think that you're not wrong that everybody else got slightly better, and Orks got taken down a little bit since in the data slate. You know what I mean?
But I think that leads to it looking like a disproportionate nerf when it was a combination of they got nerfed a little bit and the things they don't want to see get better got better. So
yeah.
Again, I think if you'd left their points alone and all the other things coming up, it would have balanced that out a little bit. But that's just a personal opinion on that one.
I'm gonna go to the wall again for this. Good Jesus, KR, 100%. I was saying this to the moon, and everybody was fucking yelling at me. World Eaters are dead. Oh my God! You're like, nothing changed in an army. It literally just doesn't get an auto, +2 in advance and charge on turn 1. The army's fine. Jesus.
Brad, did you look at the list?
What's that?
Did you look at the undefeated World Eaters list?
Oh my God, it was so fantastic.
You can't look at this list and tell me nothing changed.
No. I'm saying nothing changed as far as you can bring the old list and it would be fine, which did happen already. I'm saying that nothing changed as far as the list is good. Okay, that was what I was saying. Nothing changed.
So, Brad, did you see the list though?
I can't remember it. I did look at all of the top 6 lists here.
It was Angron, World Eater's Demon Prince with Wings, World Eater Lord on Juggernaut, a couple units of Jackals.
And he had the big units, did he not?
Yeah, no, they were just standard Jackals.
Oh, just the 10s?
Yeah.
Yep. 2 10s.
And then a big unit of 8-bound, Lord of Skulls, 2 Chaos Spawns, a Hellbrute, and a Hellbrute.
Jesus Christ, Hellbrute's coming in. Who knew?
Yeah.
We have one unit of infantry and a Lord of Skulls and Angron.
I'm just saying the world leaders have fucking play still, you know what I mean? In multiple ways. So it annoys me whenever everybody's sky is falling. That's it. You know what I mean? Everybody sees something. It's like, I can't bring the exact thing I was bringing before. You know what I mean? Adapt a little bit, everyone. You know what I mean? Like, at least put it on the board before you're just like, the world is destroyed.
I mean, has Eldar fallen off now enough to the point where they're no longer in that top tier bracket?
I still think that they're fine, but there's going to be a huge disparity between really skilled, really experienced Eldar players and everyone else with Eldar, because Eldar is going to be that army that has tons of plays versus everything, but is very fragile. It's just not like OPing people now. So the army's fantastic still. I really think Eldar's great. It's just that they were so holy shit OP that, you know, now that they're not auto winning, you know what I mean? That people are looking at them in a different way.
Dude, we didn't even talk last week. I know this is last week Meta Monday, not this week. We didn't even talk about the fact that Eldar went undefeated at a large event, or they've like placed at a large event with a Scathach. Like that's the thing now. Is like Eldar can take the Scathach and actually like just body
that dude bounces too. You can pick him up. You know what I mean?
He can do the deep strike. You can also still fire and fade him.
Yes, he could, and you can also then just go deuces. I'm leaving. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Eldar's got some. Like they still have plenty of cool tricks. They have one of the 3 deepest codexes in the game. They've still got plenty of stuff.
They have mad things. Oh, screw you, Gulch. God damn it. I will never get over that reveal where I said they sucked as Guardians. So, God damn it. But I think that,
you know, oddly enough, that video doesn't exist on our YouTube channel anymore. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, you're right.
It's missing. It's odd.
I didn't kill it. I just hated on it so much that apparently it just went away by itself. What is up with you and those Aries, KR? All of the things, some of the stuff. I have not seen Manny's list. What is Manny's list now?
I haven't seen it. I was told it was 3 Nemesis Dread Knights and 3 Land Raiders.
Dude, I have to give props. Listen to this list. He won multiple games with it over the weekend. So the Playmaker went to a Tennessee tournament that Mr. Sean Rice, our buddy, won with sisters. But the Playmaker went with 8 Land Raiders. That's
Strong.
it, by the way. No other models.
How did he do?
He won more. It was 2-1 on day 1. How about that? So I love everything about that. He's just like, what do you need? Land Raiders. What about if you take more Land Raiders?
This would have been the Birmingham event. I gotta go find it. Let's see.
Crazy time, man. But the thing is you can play some serious stuff as long as you play the game right now. Oh, Keith Murphy came with a $5 super chat. How do you guys deal with massive skew lists? Ran into 3 repulse executioners plus 3 tank Iron Starmen and RTT. Similarly for Catan spam stuff. Now, that's a really great question. It's also a wildly different question because it depends on what you're playing. Because of the fact that the immediate answer is play the mission, because a lot of those skew armies don't play the mission very well and they don't score well. The thing is that you get caught up in I have to kill shit, and you have to kill certain stuff, but you have to start flanking, move blocking, and just scoring points, because there's a lot of times when you can just go, hey, I'm going to stand on this objective and stand next to you, basically take the objective away, because in the end you're just looking for how many victory points I have. That's all that matters. It's not how many things that you've killed. So that's the easy answer on that. But it is going to be based a little bit on what you're playing, because you can start to flank, move, block, flank. You basically only kill a certain area, and that's how you take care of it.
I lied to you. I'm sorry. Manny's list was 3 Tech Marines, 3 Land Raiders, a unit of Inquisitorial Henchmen, and 5 Dread Knights.
My bad. Good times.
My bad, everybody.
A little bit of skew. But seriously, when you're doing a skew, if you're going to try to kill stuff, you have to start isolating stuff. So you want to kill stuff, basically pick a side, top or bottom, isolate things, kill things, focus down things where you're going to get the least amount of fire back, but you do have to move block those armies. Big giant square boxes are just very easy to move block, so don't worry about killing everything. Move block is the key. It's a big deal on that. So
you can also just take an army that can kill everything, like Tau.
Or you can kill everything.
That's
but even if you're bringing an army that kills everything, you should still be move blocking and killing flanks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You still move block. You just move block them so that you can kill them.
Yeah, you want to be isolating things. I want to fight people in an alley. I want like 7 of my friends and 1 guy with a wheelchair. That's what I want to fight. You want to fight an overwhelming force all the time. So it's
can I take this? I know I kind of set up my own transition, but can I prompt you with the transition question, Brad?
Hit me.
I know you like to chase squirrels. We haven't had a stream yet. It's our first stream where we can officially talk about Tau. Now the official released videos have been made that GW gave permission to talk about stuff. So what are your thoughts on Tau? And would you believe it that you are not the only person in the last 24 hours that told me they thought the Kroot detachment might have really strong play?
I actually think it does. It's got a lot of nonsense. The fact that you have like a Kroot with invulns, besides the fact they've got some pretty cool strats. Also, if Snigs would have read the entirety of some of those units, they would have been a little less cool than I thought they were. I was like, man, this unit's awesome. It's got all flamers. And I was like, the sergeant has a flamer. I'm like, so that's less cool. Kroot party.
Yeah, 10 flamers would be really good.
But I think that they're
I
gonna
have
play. It's
three people at this point say they think the Kroot detachment with like some Tau backup might actually end up being the best thing by the end of everything.
I think that it's got play, man. I think that if you take it effectively is going to be in my first couple incarnations of trying to screw around with it. Obviously, we don't know the exact points, and the points are going to be a huge deal. But you can make 1,400 points of like Tau shit, and then 600 points worth of Kroot, and that gets you a lot of Kroot, man. That doesn't include, but you know what the price is on those new Kroot hand-to-hand guys. Those the beasts. If those are actually economically costed, those would be fantastic counter for a Tau army.
I still personally think, and I know we're both going to get overridden when Tom joins the video to tell us we're both wrong also. I think Montcalm looks the spiciest. I think Montcalm has just way too many good enhancements and detachments or stratagems compared to normal for it to not just be crazy. Like, even if the Montcalm ability being front-loaded 1, 2, 3 is not preferable for a top-table game where you need to play to turns 4 and 5, you know, that is annoying. But oh my god, their enhancements and stratagems are bonkers. Like, they're just the absolute
that stratagem that you basically just go, hey man, you killed one of my trash units, now everybody gets to reroll against you for the game, is legit. Like, I thought that I read that wrong.
I'm gonna oath a moment you forever for 1 CP.
Yeah, and you can double it up. You know what I mean?
No, I was wrong. The only way you could double it up is if they killed Farsight's unit, because Farsight's ability lets you target his unit. So you can only do it the 5 times. Unless that's just not how that works. But if he says you could do a stratagem that targets his unit for free.
Also, I kind of really want this old world almanac. Talk about squirrel. Also, I need someone to give me a recommendation for headphones. You know what I'm using right now after I broke my last 2? These would be the headphones that you get from Delta when you're on the fucking airplane. That's what I just put in today because I had nothing else left. I'm flying high tech right now. Hold on, I still have the Delta bag. There you go. This is what I got for my last flight. I'm using it right now on my computer. I
also want to make sure the world knows, Brad, that you're very clearly what's the word? Not delusional. When you have a fever. And you're like hallucinating things. I'm forgetting the word.
Probably. I mean, I have.
But Brad is clearly still getting over being violently ill, because not only is he doing weird Delta stuff with the headphones, Brad also told me yesterday he thought that we should play Storm Surges.
This is
Brad
true.
Suggested a model.
I did suggest Storm Surges. So
hold on. He is feverish. He's clearly off in La La Land. You said a Storm Surge.
True story.
Brad told me that maybe we should play 2 storm surges.
You're
No.
welcome. I said 2 storm surges and a crew. Let's do this.
Delirious. That was the word I was looking for, Monic. Thank you.
Definitely
Delirious.
I was letting the good times roll with storm surges. We need to get Tom in here to talk about Gundams for the last 30 minutes. Did an alien replace Brad?
I know.
I want to answer KR's comment on the wall. He said that he thinks that they're gonna have to strat because they're gonna have the FAQ because they gave Montcalm way too many battle tactics. This book was written 6 months ago.
True story.
And it was very clearly written before they made that change to how free stratagems work. Because one, yes, the Montcalm has like all battle tactics, and the other detachments have like 1 each. But the other problem is that the other detachments make it painfully obvious they intended for you to be able to use a free stratagem on any stratagem. Like that's why they made certain things the way they are in a book like where you have Farsight who gives you free strategy.
You gotta remember these books are made
that he wants you
so.
to be able to play him in any detachment and him still work.
Dude, the
Right
books
now,
are made
he really
so
only works
far
in the
before.
Montcalm detachment.
You have to.
They're way more than 6 months out.
Yeah. I mean, these books are so far because you gotta remember they have to go into translation and they have to go to print. You know what I mean? It's 2 storm surges that Taladar
to get something to print.
Speaking of that, are we ever gonna get shit sent to the US?
What are you waiting to be sent to the US?
My goddamn Ork Codex for one. When am I getting Orks?
Orks are the next book.
Unless they put the Codex in that box with the Stampa or whatever it was, I still think you'll get the Ork Codex before Tau, because I think the Tau Codex is still not going to come out for 7 weeks.
Orks lost at sea.
Rumor is 3.
That would be much faster than Dark Angels.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember. So look at it in how they just did this week. Astra Militarum's 40K Brethren, the Solar Auxilia, had their limited edition box set released, and then they announced that next week the pre-orders go up. So 2 weeks out in addition. So 3 weeks later, the individual box sets are going out. So it looks like they're getting their distribution back on track.
I hope so. Well, the question is what are we going to see at the Adepticon reveal?
I think they announced Age of Sigmar 4, whatever next one is.
That'll be the big reveal.
Yeah,
that'll be.
I think the Sigmar lied videos are all about like Sigmar lied that the cities are safe and the Skaven have been living there the entire time.
I mean, they're Skaven. So that's what they always do.
Sigmar versus Skaven box to launch the next edition or something like that.
The fact that the Skaven live in the sewers of the cities in every city and they have forever. Yeah.
But not Sigmar, because Sigmar is safe. So.
Sure it is.
I think we're going to get the announcement of Chaos Space Marines and Agents of the Imperium.
Because they did the reveal for Orks for Sigmar. Or was it Sigmar or was it Old Worlds?
They did Old Worlds this past. You could pre-order Old World Orks yesterday.
Yeah. Yes. So maybe I'm getting my Orktober early. I don't know. The thing is what army that's coming out? Fuck it. Let's do this one. So we've got Tau, Custodes, and Orks coming out in some order. Which one of those 3 armies, or all 3, or none, do you guys think is going to really impact the meta?
I think Tau.
Tau by far. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime an army with mobility and good shooting come out and change things up, and it looks like they got some close combat now, it's going to shift the meta a little bit.
Well, the other issue is that from the spoilers for, again, I like Montcalm. I know Tom and Britton like Retaliation Cadre. I haven't heard anyone say they like Calyon. Brad likes Kroot, whatever. The Montcalm detachment specifically just takes what a lot of the good Tau lists were already doing and does it better. And you just take a bunch of breachers and transports and you play the mission. Like you can make OC3 breachers like for an enhancement. Like your whole army can be OC3 breachers. Which is like you're just going to play this aggressive primary denial while you score points, which is what Tau was already trying to do and winning by a little. I think Moncala takes what they're doing, makes it better, and now they have a much bigger cushion to try to win by. They don't even need to shoot people off the table. They just need to run around and score. And so I think that's just like painfully out there as like people can try this and start winning right away. You don't have to. There's no fine tuning of what's the right balance of shooting I need to find. It's like let's just go play the game.
Well, we got to see. We got to see what the point costs are on the new suits. I think that's going to be a big thing. For the retaliation cadre and all that other stuff. It'll be interesting to see where we go up, where things land, because having kind of preset suits for the most part is going to make things a little more interesting. It'll allow them to point things a little bit differently.
Yeah, I give you that because of the fact that you're not just taking the one gun, you know what I mean, like we were before, because you would always just kind of slam the same thing on. But yep. the thing that goes with it is I don't know. I've seen a lot of good things in that from what we saw. You know what I mean? I still think Tao's going to have some real bite to it. I don't know if it's going to be suits bite though. Losing a hard point's a big deal, man.
Well, yeah, because you're going down. You're going down to two guns, and you know that's where you're at. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's phrased and done.
I think the rules for what they got is fine, because how much are 9 or 3 eradicators?
85.
85 for 3.
It's 85 or 95.
I'll say it's like 95.
All right, so 95 gets you 4 shots. So the new crisis suits have 6 shots, and they have the eradicator rule, and they're probably going to have 4 rerolls to hit anyway for whichever way you decide to get them 4 rerolls to hit. So like they're way faster. So if they're even reasonably close to like the number of points per the number of shots you get, and then you have them moving like 10 to 12 inches, you can put them in Montca and auto advance them 16 and then still get the eradicators roll. Like that's still a unit people are taking now. People are still taking 6 eradicators with an apothecary now. So like I think that unit's still going to see play just because a far more mobile version of something people already want is always going to be good.
What are you saying that's going to run? Like 165 for a unit of 3?
I've seen guesstimations of something like that. You know, like I said, we always had to wait and see what they decide at the end. They could change stuff. I've seen estimations of like 165-ish for that one, and then the other ones are cheaper than that. I could see that unit being like, I would probably pay 175 for 3 guys and not be upset about it if that was the case. Maybe even a little bit more.
It plays a point of the fact that if that's all the things that we've seen so far are true, the sustain 2 on the observers is a big deal for Kayan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my issue is I don't understand what Kalyan does right now, because the way Kalyan kept it close in the beginning of the game and then snowballed late was by fire and fading stuff to like put out your damage and come back. 1, your units aren't as big. They don't do that kind of damage. 2, you don't have fire and fade anymore. It's not in the detachment.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
I don't know what their early game play is anymore.
Unless you do like you could do a heavy vehicle army at that point in time. Yeah, I mean with triple Sky Ray, triple Riptide or something.
I think what Kalyan might want to do is, and it's just an idea, I think it's possible you could just spam indirect again, because they did add a shot back to all the SMS. So like your Riptides you already want to take, you could take SMS on them. Your Sky Rays, you can take SMS. You're probably taking like 2 or 3 Devilfish, you can take SMS on those. Like you could just start having a buildup of indirect shooting.
Well, you can do
things around in the early game, and then.
Well, with the crew too,
for those people who don't know what SMS is, it's a smart missile system. Just for those who aren't familiar with Tau well enough.
They got 3 shots now instead of the deuce. But the thing is that with an army like that, you could actually push up, Lyle. You could like use all your crew and your breacher fish to keep them away for a turn or 2. Steal primary objective, move block, and then when Kayan kicks in turn 3.
I do like Kroot more in the non-Kroot detachments, oddly enough. Just because the sticking in objective, like that's such a big deal for some of these other Tau lists that don't want to, especially losing Enva. That's competitively, I think that's the biggest hit, because Enva was so crazy good.
Dude's been dead for 100 years, yo.
I get it, but I'm just saying putting him on the table was really important to a lot of Tau strategies. So being able to scout and sticky is pretty useful to kind of make up for that. I still like Riptides. I know Riptides have no rules, basically. They're just a pile of stats, but I think they're an appropriately costed pile of stats, which is great. And then like they're still just, they can poke out, shoot, be durable, wait until the end game. Did you see what they did to your boy, Brad? I don't even know if you caught this as you guys were reading the Codex yesterday. Did you see what they did to the Skyray?
I did not.
All of its guns are twin linked now.
Twin linked.
Yeah, baby. Skyray for life.
Yeah. So like if its points don't go up, I mean that's much more efficient shooting. Not durable like the Riptide.
Plus rerolling everything against anything with fly. The keyword that no one wants anymore. Jesus. Look what they did to my boy. They massacred him.
So I think there's a lot of fun things to do with like I play 2 armies, right? I play Blood Angels, and usually my Blood Angels are pretending to be someone else when Blood Angels are bad, or I play Tau. So like I only have these 2 things to get excited about. And as a Tau player, I look at this Tau book, and assuming the points are not horrible, assuming the points are reasonably close to what we have right now, it looks like a really fun book to brainstorm with. There's just a lot of cool stuff you can do here, a lot of cool ideas, and I think that's really exciting.
So, Lyle, are you going to Adepticon?
I am not. The players on our team had some stuff come up, and it just didn't end up making sense. So we decided not to go this year. We'll hold out for next one. Don't want to waste our cool team idea on a year that we can't really like do it with chutzpah. So I'll let Brad go and win it for everybody.
That's how I'm rolling. It's the war in heaven, baby. That's what's up. Also, KR was talking about an uppy downy detachment for custodes. What do you think of the chances of that happening are?
Wasn't that the black ones? What was the black custodes? Didn't they used to do something like that? I don't know which custodes are which. There was a black chapter of custodes.
As I've only quick glanced at the Tau book because I worked most of the weekend, did they have an uppy downy detachment?
Cadre, the retaliation
cadre has a 3-inch.
Has an enhancement.
Yeah,
a commander can uppy downy a unit every turn, but it has to be his unit. So as long as his unit doesn't die, you can do it.
So I don't think you're going to see every book have uppy downy, but it would make sense for custodes to have an enhancement to do that.
Agreed. I mean, they're teleporting.
In particular with Alaris, it would make sense with Alaris Terminators for some reason.
Well, that's what they do. Yeah, I mean, they just pop up. But a big deal on that. You know what? Corey's got a good point that he goes, I do like how wildly different the detachments feel. It seems way more diverse than previous Codex this edition. Yeah. And I hope that they continue to really have wild diversity. I did enjoy the fact that, like, especially Necrons, for instance, I'll just use Necrons because they're already out. Hypercrypt versus Canoptic Court are just 2 wildly different armies. You know what I mean? Within a Codex. Yeah. But I like that a ton, man. You know what I mean? You want to be able to play different armies, especially if like there's a lot of people that only play one faction. You know what I mean? So you want to have them have the most diverse play that they can. You know what I mean? It keeps people's interest in the game.
I agree with what I see Meta Monday saying on the wall. Only 4 detachments is kind of a bummer. I would like to have had 6. That would have been sweet. But I personally think that the Tau book has done the best at capturing 4 different flavors of detachment and making them all feel like you could go play them. Like the Kroot one, we'll see. I think that one's going to require the most cooking to see like what that looks like.
I'm going to make it work.
All 4 of these detachments are completely different.
See, I like that.
Like there's no similarity between them.
Some of the Marine ones just mailed it in. Come on now. They had all those detachments. You're like, no, they don't. You know what I mean? There's only a couple. You know what I mean? It's like and the differences weren't that big. So that's a big deal on that. So I would rather have less detachments and have the detachments be wildly different and playable. So
I can't tell you how many books have done it because I don't know what any of the detachments in AdMech do. Someone in our comments the other day called me out. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Oh, 100%.
Lyle said this thing that was wrong. Has he ever read the AdMech Codex?
And you're like,
and I replied,
no.
I was like, no, I have not. I don't know what anything in the AdMech Codex does.
AdMech have 3 detachments. The 4th one that they got is not a detachment.
Okay.
Yeah, the thing is, you were just making shit up. It's no big deal, though. We still love you, Lyle.
Well, no, I confused an army rule or a unit rule with a stratagem. There was a stratagem I'd seen them be using. I thought it was just their units did it. So
I was like, that would make that AdMech army significantly cooler.
Yeah, I
Chickens
thought all the
popping all
boys
over the
with
place.
wings did that, but it's just you have to use the stratagem on them. And the reason I was thinking is because the stratagem, if it's the Leonardo da Vinci wing things, the stratagem works on 2 things at a time. That's why I thought their units just did it.
Chicken wings, bok bok. Still have
Hey,
stupid
Meta
ones.
Monday is correct. Dark Angels technically get 9 detachments.
True story.
Yeah. Tau getting 4 does make
Don't
that.
forget, 2 weeks
By
ago,
comparison.
Space Marine Codex could make both the worst army statistically in the game and the best list.
But it's true.
Yay, Dark Angels.
I'll say they have the most winning and the least winning at the same time. You like our Marines good? No, yes, / no. Maybe. So but to be fair, I'm not upset if we get less detachments in some of the new books, as long as the detachments are usable and have good differences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need 6, 9, whatever. If you give me 4, but they make 4 different armies, I'm in all the time on that.
I feel like I
You know
can
what would
make
be great
4
if all the
armies.
detachments did? If all the detachments liked and subscribed to the video,
Oh,
it would be fantastic.
I do feel like I could make 4 armies with the Tau Codex and feel like I was playing 4 like actual different armies. I don't feel like they're going to have completely different experience. It's like comparing like Tyranid Vanguard to Tyranid Endless Swarm. Like, they're not in the same conversation.
Yeah, the Tyranids really, I mean, is a true Tyranid player. I mean, like, they have 3 attachments that get played. 2 of them feel very similar, and the third one's only a little different.
I mean, it's Synaptic and Invasion feels like the same. It's just whether you want it's what enhancement you want, to be perfectly honest with you. 1 enhancement and 1 strat.
Yep.
So yeah, I just want them to be different. I don't need a million of them. Just make them different. You know what I mean?
Here's what I want to see. I want to know, how are they going to make 4 completely different attachments for Blood Angels that feel completely unique to each experience?
I don't think you're going to do that with a BA though. But BA is like also
I don't know
a
how
chapter.
running forward and punching people feels different from this other time when I ran forward and punched people.
Yeah, but the thing is that I can't think when you're looking at the specific chapters. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can do that. So,
yeah.
But
I would like, if I could get 2, I would be happy. Yeah, I would get a Fletch Terrors feel and like a jump pack feel. I'd be happy.
Oh, Gabriel Seth trying to bump out.
I again, the one that I want to see the most with is I want to see different flavored for Orks.
Yeah, it's so much. Like, Jesus, yes.
Because they just, there needs to be a snakebite detachment that has something to do with the way, with Beast Naga style stuff. There needs to be one for Speed Freaks where, like, it affects mostly mounted in vehicles. It would be great.
I need to see one detachment that only wants buggies and airplanes. Just bring it back. Let's run it back from 9. Only buggies and airplanes.
No, but I'd like to see Speed Freaks have something very different. I'd like to see Snakebites have something very different, because those are the guys that are like, this new orc technology, get off my lawn. You know what I mean? And the rest of them, you know what I mean? The Goths are kind of just like the regular. Well,
you could see a green tide one without a doubt, right?
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that could be in any one kind of, but I'd like to see clan specific, you know what I mean? Detachments on that. I'd like to see Snakebites. I'd like to see Speed Freaks. I'd like to see, a Blood Axe or a Death Skulls, you know what I mean? Be significantly different.
If we can get a good, interesting Speed Freaks detachment, I will be happy, because that would, I feel like, indicate there's a really good chance we're going to get a mounted detachment for guard. And then I really want to see this Kriegsman horse list come back. I want to see that on the table. Because like, of all the armies I've ever played against, playing against Krieg is just the most fun.
Uh-oh.
It just looks so crazy.
Anna coming in with a Teller Super Chat. I would be good with 4 solid Votan detachments. That's 1 for each data sheet. Bring back site-to-site transport. Votan desperately need a book, by the way. They just need more data sheets.
Yeah.
For one.
I think Votan is going to end up coming out last, or very close to the end, because they're not going to want to like double a model line that close to it coming out. I think they, like, when you look at what they did with Admech and Gene Stealer Cult, they kind of spaced it, right? I expect we're going to see space between the initial release and the second wave. So I have a feeling we'll see the back half of 10th edition for Votan.
They didn't do that with
close
Sisters.
to the end. Yeah, but Sisters is kind of a weird thing, because they had technically already been around. So It's hard to compare.
Votan is just another one of those armies that they just need more data sheets. I don't even know if they need more rules. They just need more options. You know what I mean?
Brad, Meta Monday is calling out to you. He needs to see a Sisters of Silence detachment in the
Oh
custodian.
God, where's Mike when we need him? I still can't believe that dude went 3-3. I'm gonna, you know what? We've talked about this before. I'm bringing it up again. Our boy Mike literally brought only Sisters of Silence to a GT and went 3-3. The best part is he played 2 Psyker armies.
No, I think he only played Psychers once.
No, he played 2,000 Suns.
I remember him playing 1,000 Suns one time.
Was it only once?
I was a TO for that, and he came up and asked me if I had paired him manually to like see it because it would be funny. And I had to assure him I did not manually pair him into T Suns.
Oh my God, it'll be so funny. That was just such a crazy ass thing. Custodes, bike shooting, movement, jank style, Sister Silence. Oh my God. You know what's funny? Andy called it out, and KR actually made a great point. Back in the day, Space Wolves had special rules depending on who was leading your detachment. So I actually think it'd be kind of easy to make detachments for Space Wolves because the individual lords had rules for how they fought. You know what I mean? I mean, way back in the day, you had to bring extra HQs for your Space Wolves because everybody basically showed up with their bros. Let's do this.
I mean, I think Space Wolves will be easy. You'll get a detachment for mounted benefits. You'll get a detachment for infantry benefits. So you have like your Wolf and your Thunderwolf lists. Like the easiest obvious thing to do for Blood Angels is do like a jump pack detachment, a Death Company detachment, maybe an elite Sanguinary Guard detachment.
I would love to see a
but you're just
full
steer
Death
into
Company.
the specific units.
Even in Fluff though, you have like gatherings. We've had several stories where we had mass Death Company basically do huge assaults on things. I can see a Death Company detachment. It would be awesome.
I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there right now about the Blood Angels getting a breath of life this summer. I would be excited to see that if that was the case. Like Dark Angels got some new stuff. So
Hold on, I'll counter Andy again. He goes, have you seen the Sons of Rust attachment? The data sheet, and this is a fact, did make the Sons of Rust attachment better. Is it any good at all? No. But it is better than it was. You're like, even after they buffed it, you kind of just went, so this makes them almost have, after you complete these 3 things, you're almost as good as Black Templar's base thing? Yes. Your characters have to win 3 fights, and then you're almost as good as the Templars. You're like, yes. Yeah. Huzzah! Again, everyone, please like and subscribe. It really helps the metrics, gets us back up and on the YouTube magic, whatever the hell happens to make us be seen. So it really does help a ton. Also, throw some comments in, everyone. 1, we read them. 2, it again helps the engagement and stuff. So
I particularly would love it if you guys went to ChatGPT and asked it questions about Brad and just posted what it said. I think that would be great.
Apparently, or just make me sing songs.
Yeah.
So Brad,
just ChatGPT generated that song in like half a second. It was amazing.
So Brad, coming up this week, you have Adepticon.
I'm excited for Adepticon. I'm going Wednesday. I'm going to Alan's house, and I'm going to use my hobby skills. Also, you know what? Screw this. I'm also calling it out. Going to Adepticon on Wednesday. Also, this Sunday, I painted 7 more orcs. Thank you very much.
I saw. I'm very proud of you.
I'm
slowly
rocking
but surely you're making hobby progress.
I'm literally going to get.
How many more orcs do you have to paint before you're forced to play them at the team event?
I don't know if I get enough of them done. What my thing is by the summer I want to have. My goal is to have Orks and Dark Eldar haphazardly done for my with me having painted them. So we'll see if I can keep the same mojo going. Sniggs has been a epic patient with my bad painting.
And of course, this week I have the All Is Dusty GT in Petawawa, Ontario, Canada, that I'm heading up to, bringing the endless swarm of Tyranids.
Loving it. Also, again, as usual, I'm gonna give my self promotions. It's selfless, definitely. 40K Lorecast. 40K Lorecast, you can get me on Spotify, iTunes. You can go to the Discord, 40K Lorecast. You can go to the Facebook page, 40K Lorecast. Are you seeing a pattern here for me?
And of course, I'm going to shamelessly plug the art store and the Salt City GT. So if you go to the saltcitygt.com, you can sign up for 40K and all the other game systems we have going on. And one of the big things I want to yell out, the art store, cny.com. If you need one of the Tau boxes, as we spent a lot of time talking about the Tau, we still have some pre-orders available for that. So pop on over, 15% off every day, and $35 or more is free shipping. So free shipping on pretty much everything.
Anybody going to Adepticon, please feel free to come up, hang out, drink some wine with me. We're going to, always a great tournament. Hangout tournament. It's got fantastic stuff. And if you haven't been there before, man, we were talking about it last week. The Armies on Parade might be the coolest thing in the hobby. It is just so awesome. The sheer amount of effort and hobby mojo is on display. I don't know if I stick them on.
I also want to say at Adepticon, the person who is able to trick Brad into drinking the most tequila when he thinks it's water will win a prize.
Fuck you. That was such a bummer of a day. If you see Brad,
please offer him some kind of clear liquid in a bottle if he looks thirsty.
You know, that's what I'm ending on. I'm ending on Tom trying to kill me because I was so dehydrated. It was early. It was literally 8 a.m. And Tom goes, in his most helpful looking face, his little cherub self went, "Oh man, Brad, you look like you really need to hydrate up before this tournament. Here you go, buddy." And I took a giant slug from this water bottle, which was not water. It was straight tequila. At 8 a.m. tequila that you think is water is the shittiest tequila known to man, by the way.
Anybody who can top Brad's experience wins a prize. We'll announce it on the next stream.
If you happen to get in the teams event for Adepticon for 40K and you play against the Tiki Gods, who are some friends of mine, enjoy barely being able to walk after.
I was about to say, enjoy the fact that that's the last game you will be conscious with.
Because it is a Saturday with them is a good fun day.
Those are good peeps.
Yes, they are.
So, gents, let's Queens wave our way out of here.
Stay milky, my friends.